On the TikTok, I have experienced and encountered people who have misunderstanding or even conspiracy theories or accusations to Chinese people, Chinese culture, even to China today. I'm not saying the past, I'm saying today. I always like to take some time, try to help them to understand what I personally have heard, have seen, have experienced as a Chinese. Also as a Chinese living outside of Chinese comfort zone. So I have a better view from the outside to the inside. In the meantime, I grew up from inside, so I facing the outside. Let me first help you to understand a little bit about my background. I'm a Chinese born in Taiwan, grew up in Taiwan. My father was a general from the KMT military. You can say that he was a nationalist, and I grew up with a brainwashed education about anti-communist. When I was little, teenagers, I don't know how old, but I was young, because my father and his friends always talk about the experience they went through in the time fought against Japanese and also afterward in the domestic fight between KMT and CCP. So I asked my dad, Dad, what was the reason why you lost mainland to CCP? My father kept silent and looked at me, said, Melan, during the war against Japanese, many soldiers suffered a lot of loss in the family. Finally, we could celebrate victory, and all the sentence started with a domestic fight against each other. Chinese don't kill Chinese. There's no reason for killing each other. I still remember that closure my father made. Chinese don't kill Chinese. Because in 1989, I brought my mom back to Shandong, visit her family first time. I met my family in mainland, who are many of them are the Communist Party member. I met a lot of Communist Party members as well. My father was a KMT. So when we get together, there's only one thing. We are family. We lost a lot of lives during the war against Japanese. And also the domestic war and afterward in the Cultural Revolution, because my mother's family was very rich and a wealthy family and a big family. You can imagine that how much pain they suffered through in the Cultural Revolutions. So I have family lost in the different reasons. But we knew there's nothing we could bring those loved ones back. But what is important is today, and what is important is the hope for the future generation. Based on how do we choose to live today? We decided not to live based on conflict against each other. We certainly don't want to live in hate, because we are not enemies to each other. So remember, Chinese people actually is very pragmatical, very reasonable. We just want to enjoy a good life as the people rest of the world. And we will do our best for that. And China is no longer the China in the Qing dynasty when we was weak. Today, we are very proud that we can keep our back straight, but we still maintain the humbleness. Try to understand your life based on positive thinking, but not based on hate, discrimination, bullying, or racism. Because you only lock yourself in the box you cannot break. Your life, your decision.